The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion Mayday, the dog of the year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time best in show and two-time gamest in show. Going hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion Mayday, the dog of the year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time best in show and two-time gamest in show. Going hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand champion Mayday, the dog of the year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, two-time best in show and two-time gamest in show. Going hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion El Rod, Champion Yellow Bird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
What up? What is up? What is up? What is up? Take care of this right quick here. See what I gotta do here. Yeah. Yo, y'all know what time it is. It's Hot Mike Friday. Big shout out to everybody out there in the Shark Tank. Big shout out to all my people out there on the back street. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let me get my shout outs out the way. Yo, my man, greater than in the hills. What up, fam? One and only longtime supporter, my man, Mr. David Morris in the house. What up, fam? Yo, three dogs. I see you, fam. Welcome to the Shark Tank, fam. My man, Mr. William McNeil in the house. What up, fam? Yo, Mr. Derek Lockett's hanging out in the Shark Tank tonight. What up, fam? Bloodthirst, number one, a.k.a. Havoc 360s in the house. Yo, what up, fam? My man's in them. Hellraiser, Gene Lewis in the house. What up, fam? My man's in them. Mr. Carlos Lee in the house. What up, fam? Bite down and shake that like button. The one and only Double M Despo in the house. What up, fam? My man, Mr. John Debris. What up, fam? Yo, the insane honey badgers in the house tonight. What up, fam? Yo, big shout out to Mr. Keon Carter in the house. Representing Flint, Michigan. What up? Bam! Hey, again, appreciate everybody for showing out tonight. You know, we be running late because we be trying to figure out, man, what we gonna do tonight. So I figure I just come on. Since I have my boy here, look here, we're gonna be into one of the, the dogs that, a couple of them, but I just wanted to go over some of the shit that we liked. And for me, it was Rutkus. I love Rutkus. He was a hellraiser, then he was a good producer. I probably only feel like that because my KP, he was one of them strong believers in that Rutkus shit. I thought it took a while for Mo to get on board because, Mo always wanted to sit back. I'm waiting to see what this shit gonna do. So I guess he then became a believer, fam. So I'm gonna let him talk about it. Well, I know you putting him on the Rutkus. I'll let you tell the story because KP was always a Rutkus man. Let me see. So out there in the Bulldog community, first and foremost, fellas, I want y'all to understand, when we talk about things over here, the disclaimer is in place. So we're going to just gather up our shit and get on our bus, and we're going to take a quick ride back to the wild side of things when shit was hot and popping. But look, man, while Mo getting ready and everything, when you sit back and, at our age, when we sit back and we look at, just look over the dogs of the past, because we always go back here because we try to relate how does the future look, moving forward based on some of the breedings you see. And it's just amazing that over all the years, of doing these dogs, you never know what a breeding is going to produce. You know, don't necessarily mean it has to be a nice pedigree. Some of it, sometimes it don't even have to be something planned out. Just shit that happen. You know, these good dogs show up in any and everywhere. But what we like to preach over here is consistency. You know, when you're being consistent, that means you pretty much have a formula to something, and you stick with it, and you reap the benefits of the rewards of your consistency by maintaining something that you already have. You know, don't try to fix it if it ain't broken. So we have always stuck to a certain game plan, and it pretty much worked out for us. But we take and we learn from what other people were doing. We tell y'all that all the time. And it's hard to be able to maintain consistency when you're not being consistent with your program. See, when we say consistency with the program, okay, we don't run off and just breed the shit just because of its accolades. You know, you might take one, got great accolades, but then you say, all right, he got that part right. But then it's all about, can he produce? Just because you're a winner, is there any chances of you being a producer? I think that was one of the biggest issues when it came down to Zebo, because Zebo was so good that everybody was trying to recreate a Zebo, which was kind of impossible. You know, I read a story with Barney Fife and how he felt about it. And yeah, Zebo was able to create some damn good dogs later down the line, dogs that came off of him. But think about all the years that people were trying to recreate Zebo. I mean, and in Barney Fife's case, 10 years. Just to see 10 years later how prominent Zebo was and all the time he wasted. And in his story, he just made it good and clear about, even in his own fault, that he was basically trying to reproduce Zebo himself, which is a very hard task. Because if you think about it, go back and look at Zebo's pedigree, you see a whole bunch of that Eli shit, and they still had them Eli traits. So just because he was a great Zebo, everybody wasn't like Zebo. They still had them same old Eli traits. And just reading that story about from Barney Fife, and great bulldog man. Well, what was he? Was it Eli? Hold on, let me make sure of that. I know it was Zebo and something. He was like, they had that same old bad habit of quitting.
They was tiny. Lonzo, this is
Yeah.
no Eli.
Well, no Eli. Oh, Daibo.
Andy is back.
Yeah. Well, I say Eli. I just took that all wrong. But the fact was, but as great as he was, they could never get another one like him. And that's just one of the hard things about these bulldogs. Sometimes you just got to look for certain things that's going to be consistent as you move forward, and stop trying to just stick to the shit that's right then and there, because there's no guarantee. So you got to put in just a little bit more homework to try to make what you got better, or at least consistent what you have already seen. I see a lot of people who have that conversation, who have different opinions on it. That's why we line breed, inbreed, and do all the crazy things that we do. But in any case, results is what matters. And unless you're putting in the work, all that don't matter, because we still stick to the facts. And the facts is the dog make the papers don't make the dog. So keep that part in mind as we move forward on here, because regardless of what you're doing, how you do it, and what your purpose is, there's nothing better than a working American Pit Bull Terrier. There's enough shows and shit that's going on out there. You know, and I'm starting to see a lot of people get involved, which is something lovely to see. Because I know in order to be able to, them dogs look the way they do, I know they have to put in that work. And there's nothing more beautiful than people, dog men, dog women, even children, putting in that work just to show off their dog. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Paul Johnson. I see you, fam. Thank you, sir. I'm turning this over to Mo because I know he already ready to show his ass.
No, I ain't. I'm trying to be a good guy. He got me talking about these papers. I told him I'm trying to get back into the game.
Let me see what else I got out here.
We got these like the yellow bus is shut down.
What up, Mr. Jason Harris? 504 representing. What up, fam?
Back on the yellow bus. But yeah, put the link on.
Nope. Over there. Go to, what's the name? Kick the mic.
What up? What's up, everybody? Chat. All right, yo. What's up, yo? Hey, give me some thumbs up if y'all can hear me good. I need some thumbs up, some reassurance that I'm sounding okay. I got the funny mic tonight. Check one. We'll say that's J-Bo. That's J-Bo right there. J-Bo, what's up, man? The host is Mike. Okay.
What up, J-Bo? It's my man's in there.
Come sit with me. Hey. I want to talk about that Rutkus stuff. I'm starting off with Rutkus. But I'm liable. I'm gonna just take a tour. You know, I always said one of the best. I can't say the best line, but I can say one of the best, roughest line when it comes to the Cunningham dogs. You know, Rutkus was one of them rough ones. Now, y'all know I did a show on Rutkus. How do I get him up here? I did a, and we talked about this Rutkus thing. But I'm always hearing everybody saying like Cunningham, like there's different Cunningham dogs. You know what I mean? There's different ones. You know, you got Redman, then you got the Boomer stuff, then you got the Rutkus stuff. They're all, you know, it's like G. Okay. And just hard share.
See what it said.
Okay. Well, now, here's the thing I want to do. It's not the G part that I'm rocking on, because you already know G Red Boy work. You know, that's automatic. There's so many different connections. You got G Red Boy with Rutkus. You got Jeep Boy, Red Boy with Tad. You know, it's just a bunch of Jeep Red Boy dogs. The reason why I like it, Rutkus, because he was one of them dogs guys. One of them dogs guys. He was one of them dogs that he was one of them dogs that, you know, he was very rough. He was one hell of a bulldog. He was one hell of a bulldog. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the cross, we take Jeep out and just look at the Cunningham side of this. No, I see a lot of them, the Kennels, Doug, and all that stuff. But this Wars, baby, and I see, you know, y'all already know I'm a fan of champions, being bred to champions anyway. But in this particular one here, look at the different Red Boy crosses. See that Madeline? You got the Madeline. And you can see Boomer. See that Madeline stuff? And then you got the Yellow John stuff. See, you know, where they added the Jocko, but all of this is Red Boy. It's the blood that created Red Boy, put it like that. You know, that Teal Jeff stuff. And that's the key. You know how I be talking about Stabber? You know, you gotta have the Stabber in your life. Well, Teal Jeff was one of them important factors. Very important factor here. And he told me that this little piece right down here is that old family red. Now that's that spice. That's the spice. They added the spice to Red Boy. That rifle stuff. See, that's that strong Kobe old-fashioned cross. That's where that blender come from in them old Kobe dogs anyway. Oh, Heinzo, but look how they built. You know, when you see them bulldogs today, you know, and them years later. But this cross right here was a real good cross. Picking our old family and tapping in. That nephew went and got him a Kobe dog, and he made that cross. And from that point on, old man Till took off. See, that's the real boy dog. That's why you see them red and white ones, and then you see them brindle ones, but then you see them straight red nose. See, just all the genetics, but the strong genetics, you know, was the combination of like when they took Red Boy and bred the Jocko, that created Yellow John. Well, look at it in the same standpoint. When they created Red Boy bloodline, they used the old family red. That would be the Jocko. And crossed it with that family line of Kobe dogs. Heavy rifle. They rode on that Kobe's diamond rifle. You know, that Till Sarge, one time winner, one time loser. You know, you won't catch a lot of them, but you won't catch a lot of these Kobe dogs being matched either. You know, pay attention. But that was the key factor. That cross right there came together. Till's job was a major factor, like we talk about when we talk about Stabber and the Patriot dogs. It don't really take a whole bunch of them. It just takes the right ones. And why is such a strong genetic line of dogs? Well, I'm going to start off from the cheap end, and we're going to go with the melon dog first. Melon is the same thing, it's the same combination. But look at the bottom. Now they're taking the Hemphill dogs, some of the old family red dogs, crossing them. And the reason why I'm pointing that out is just that I'm trying to show y'all there's a combination to everything that work. You know, when we start talking about Red Boy, we talking about so long a Red Boy goes so far back. I mean, we back there and down there in the 60s, 70s, when you start talking about the family reds and the way they came up through there, and the hands and the people that was involved, and the way they started moving these dogs around. Melon took off on his own right, still using the chemistry of Till's Jeff. He's still like the Stabber of the buck dogs. And then you have Red Boy, still a Till's Jeff dog. You see that, right? And then you got Susie Q. Going back to that old Cavino stuff and up to there now. Now This is CZQ right here. So that's Red Boy. He's double red teal Jeff. Now that's where, to me, that's where the stick and the production came from. That's what made him such a powerful cross. This cross right here. Don't look like much, but everything that made Teal's Jeff is still playing around down here in Teal's Lou. See the double bred Teal's Jeff? That was a to me, that's where the Karen Power and Red Boy came from. I think that was one of the stronger lock-ins, and I believe that CZQ played that a big part. You know, when something has come together and it clicks, you know, that's what it was. Something that comes together and it clicks. Let's look at Yellow John and his siblings. These is Yellow John and his siblings. Okay, Yellow John's registered married. Can produce pretty good. Georgia triple out red. Out red. A lot of guys probably got some of that old stuff in your pedigrees. Another dog you'll find in your pedigrees is this dog here. Well, you won't catch it on this one. This dog here you will catch in pedigrees. But these are Yellow John and his siblings. Okay. 1-3 contact matches, 4 off the chain, all been confirmed. Many believe the breeding never happened, but it did, and his litter mate are still out there also. Joker is the daddy's litter mate. The daddy's litter mate. This line is not much on ability, but they are game to the core. Now you look at that. And keep in mind, Nugget is Yellow John's litter mate. You see more, well, let me go to Chip Out Red. Chip Out Red had a lot of good dogs too, but there was a lot of, they showed a lot of gameness. You know, a lot of people, when they started breeding a Red Boy dog, it was like they was, you know, they didn't really cross him up right. They said he was this one here was an ace, but not producing like Yellow John. That he was the greatest nose dog, a true ace. It said it also should be noted that he quit in his last show going uphill 14 pounds in 1 hour and 21 minutes. Well, going up 14 pounds, going 1 hour and 21 minutes, I would relate that to carelessness and foolishness. No, giving up 14 pounds, not bad. and his chain weight was 50. So you know he's a little dog. But these little crosses right here, they far and gone. You know, every once in a while you'll catch some triple out red out there in some of these pedigrees. But the reason why I like sticking on Red Boy, because Red Boy went off in so many different ways. You know, I was talking about Yellow John as a good producer, you know, and you would have to give him the Dog of the Litter award. You know, because he did produce some good dogs. They're not all showing up here, but these three right here, based on the time that the journal was out, and you're getting points back then, all you needed was 3 champions to be a registered EDMIRED. Just bringing that part to you. Yellow, JR, and Sassy. No. See, this is not like, I'm trying to find another Yellow John. Let me see if I can find another Yellow John. They should have a whole bunch of them in here. Hey, he's under Kirby's. Let me try this one. I'm trying to catch them all. I guess this is what I have to do then. Okay. I'm trying to find those offspring I give up. Okay. Those all right there made him all well. What I was trying to take you guys is to try to show you that combination of still continuing to use Red Boy was such a great factor. You know, a lot of people, you know, I always talk junk about, you know, Jocko didn't play a major factor, and everybody seems to get mad. Well, it's not like he wasn't an important factor. I said he did not play the major factor. This was done in these breeding here when they made the triple Red Boy cross. See, that was the lineup, and you know, just like Yellow, when it clicked with Yellow didn't have no registered mares or no great litter running around like most Red Boy dogs. You know, if you notice, you can damn near pick out the producers. Black Jack have brothers too, in certain lines of these dogs. It's like Rutkus. You know, when you start grabbing them Red Boy dogs, them Cunningham dogs, and the Madeline dogs, you don't see a whole slew of them. You got them important ones. You know, like you got Yellow John. Okay, then we had Yellow. We can say that about Red Boy. Red Boy didn't have no great, you know, litter mate that was producing like him. Remember, G created a whole bunch of sons that had production strength. Yellow John produced Yellow, and Yellow produced a bunch of dogs that had producing power. You know what I'm saying? See, those genetics stand out. Everybody can say they got a litter mate to Yellow. Everybody can say they had a litter mate to Yellow John. just because y'all may have those litter mates, they wasn't him. You know, maybe their chemistry was not put together like Yellow John or Yellow or Red Boy. Remember all these litter mates? There's no guarantees. Why try to step over there and play in that blood when the blood that's got the genetic click is Red Boy? And how did it work with Red Boy? Oh, there's Yellow John. They took a 3N Red Boy dog and brought it out to it, making it a 50-50 cross. We all know 50-50s bring match dogs. It's not even supposed to be a production breeding. You know, you took a double bred Jocko dog, pretty much with more than just double bred, if I'm correct. Because I see there's Rosie. Yep, in the bottom, there it was. And here you go. See the Red Boy there? And the Zebo. Alonzo stuff. You know, all this stuff goes back. And to me, that was that click. Like the same thing I said, the creative stabber, the clout stuff. You know, those certain dogs. It's not a whole bunch of them. You have to be able to look and see what made it work. What made Miss Jocko? The Jocko cross, but a whole bunch of help. Why? Because it had the Red Boy in there. Trust me. It lined up perfect, like Red Boy in the G cross. Karen Factors, they both was registered merits. They both had the producing power. As soon as you put two good producing bloods together, I'm not talking about just any blood. It took the right dogs of that blood. Like it took the right dog off of Jocko to be bred into this triple bred champion Red Boy dog. Okay? That's what it took. Because we can go to Miss Jocko and go try to find some help outside of that yellow. You're not gonna see it. Her job was done right there, that particular breeding right there. That was a key piece. And you can't take nothing away from the Jocko blood in there because it's there. But the key factor to the yellow, like I keep saying when I say stabber, I keep saying over and over and over, Red Boy, Red Boy, Red Boy. Look how many dogs when we go grab Tab. Look how many dogs when we go grab Boomer. Look how many dogs we get when we go and grab the Medlin stuff. No, them are all Red Boy dogs. All Red Boy produce connection. Medlin had good Red Boy dogs. Created a whole nother line of the Medlin dogs. Then you had the Yellow John dogs. It turned into the Yellow dogs. And then the Yellow dogs turned into the Mayday dogs. And you got the Stone City dogs with Awesome Baby. You know, you got the Stone City Buck dogs, but it's still Red Boy dogs. You got the Red Boy with the Rascal, still Red Boy dogs. You got the Red Boy with the Jeep, they're still Red Boy dogs. So who's the common factor in the genetic pool when it comes to the major factor? You gotta know that if you're trying to breed good dogs. If you don't understand that, then you just crossing out some shit. That 3N on Yellow John that created them 3 good dogs was a hell of a cross. Breeding, pretend to take and breed Yellow John, to that Miss Jocko bitch, it was a good breeding because Mr. Shavers loved Jocko. Remember Fletcher Shavers? This is not no David Tan shit. This is Fletcher Shavers doing all this. No, he was not David Tan. He was true to his shit because he was matching his shit. Yeah, he was matching his dogs. So it was a wise choice to take Jocko and make that red boy cross. I mean, he's sitting up there with these two lions on the yard, like me sitting on the yard with a Mayday dog and a Stone City dog on the yard. The connection is there. And what did it produce? A very strong producing dog. Very strong. Not only was he a grand champion, not as pretty of a grand champion when I say in his career, because JR was probably the better champion, grand champion, than Yellow. I think the thing that stood out in Yellow in just his 6 matches that he did, it's obvious that he was very game. It was obvious you couldn't kill him. He put a lot of hours into his 6 wins. I said a lot of hours into his 6 wins. So he's definitely the genetic pool of a true red boy dog. And to be that damn game, you know what I'm saying? And to be that game, to be able to win, and coming down off of Yellow, John, just think, why do you think they bred Yellow if they didn't like the way he won his 6? You know, what made him so special when David Tent didn't even like him? Carl Cruz had to talk him into getting the dog. What made him take the chance? What was it about Yellow that David Tent changed his mind? And I'm pretty sure it wasn't after becoming grand champion, because then the next task is, can he produce? And he had no problem showing the world that he could do that. He's one of them outstanding dogs like Jeep and really Art, Zebo, Jeep. Paid attention. If you ever paid attention to how they was actually breeding Yellow and what really did work off of Yellow, I just got to find the right Yellow, guys, that I can take off. If we can find the right Yellow, I can take off, because it's a good point to point out what made Yellow shit work. Go down there, it ain't that one. Nope. Okay, here's a decent one. Here's a decent one of the Yellow John. Here we go. This is Yellow John right here. Okay, now there's Yellow, there's Sassy, there's Toro, there's Grand Champion John Boy, and we all know Bob. There's JR, There's Tyson. There's Rocco. Remember now, keep in mind, this is Yellow John. When I told you guys, I said he was on a list up there with Grand Champion Yellow at one time. It was Jeep, Grand Champion Buck, Grand Champion Yellow. It was Grand Champion, it was Jeep, Grand Champion Yellow, Grand Champion Buck, and Yellow John. Up there on the all-rim list. Them was the top three before Frisco came along and before Mayday came along. Yellow John was in that top 5. Now let's see what made what was working with Yellow John. What made Yellow John stand out? Take a closer look. We don't care about what John Boy did, but we do know that John Boy was a grand champion. Okay, that's the key part. He was a match dog. So let's look. We all know that the Red Boy Jocko cross worked. We seen it on a 50-50. And it wasn't really a 50-50 because the bottom of Miss Jocko, she had Red Boy. On this bottom, there is no Red Boy. But it's still a 50-50 cross using Jocko. There was an 8th Red Boy in yellow. But this is a 50-50 cross. What's the common factor? Still, we got Jocko. We know that'll work with Red Boy. That's a fact. In the bottom, is Jocko. Yeah, I said there's the 8th Red Boy in the bottom of Miss Jocko. But it is, Jack, Mike, wait, let me go back and show you something. I did say yellow, didn't I? Okay, if you look at yellow, guess who Yellow Mama is? That bitch. She has the 8th Jocko in her on the bottom. Is what I meant. The bottom. That's 8th Jocko in yellow. Yeah, the 8th Jocko, I said she has the 8th Red Boy in her bottom. In his bottom, in Yellow's bottom. That's the mama. There's an 8th Red Boy in this bitch. Right here. That was what I was saying. Other than that, it would have been a 50-50 cross like John Boy and them. So we know that the Red Boy Jocko cross worked. You know, and for everybody that did it, and this is a fact, everybody that did it got away with it. We know about Champion Sassy, Yellow Sister, they called her Maud, that was AKA Maud. Champion Victor, Harry Red Boy, and that's Heavy Red Boy, Inbred Red Boy. That's just a straight up Red Boy dog. There's my Jocko. Now we still dealing with that 8th of really a quarter of Jocko at the very bottom. Still Red Boy. Same little chemistry that worked with John Boy and them. And with Yellow. So it's a fact that the Jocko Red Boy cross was working. And what I'm pointing out is, look what I'm grabbing up dogs. Like Victor. That's Victor's pedigree. Champion Victor. I'm just showing you the shit that worked. Kansas Evie. Look me on the bottom. What's up, Mike? It's Toro. Toro. Another 50-50. You see what I'm saying? You don't see nobody out there. You don't see none of these champions being thrown nothing else in them. I mean, it's clearly showing you the pattern. What you getting is being got by a certain action. Again, John Boy again. Now remember, they did the same thing with Tab now. The same thing they did with Tab is the exact same thing that we're talking about. When they bred Tab to that Jeep stuff. And then you go through Tab stuff and then go look at Tab. And look at the breeders that made Tab famous. Look at the breeders that was really working for them. There go Champion Rocco. Another one of Yellow's brother. So we see the Yellow John Jocko cross, even though it's not exactly a 50-50, but it's heavy Red Boy and heavy Jocko. Damn near 50-50. So the Red Boy Jocko shit worked. And anybody, remember now, there's not a whole list of champions and great dogs here. So with all these 2 pages of everybody trying to breed this stuff, we're only pulling out the winners. And we're looking at the winners and we're saying, okay, what did all the winners have in common? It was either 50-50 or straight up Red Boy. Get it? That's what it tells us about Red Boy, the Yellow John, the Yellow. Now, when you started adding Buck to the equation, which is like when we start diving off into the Stone City stuff and how they brought Buck into the equation, when you go looking at Mr. Hollandworth and how he added Yellow to the Buck equation, you know what I mean? That's like them grabbing Jocko and starting the whole process all over again. What was still the major factor in there? Okay, we can throw Stabber in there. We can, because like Stabber is very important to the Buck dogs. You know what I'm saying? Jocko's still important to the Yellow dogs. But there's just certain connections that work. And like Jocko to Red Boy, they work. The next stage was when they started breeding Yellow. What was the 2 best, greatest damn dogs coming down off of Yellow? Mayday and Awesome Baby. Creation of 2 great lines. Still by way of Yellow. And in each instance, what was the added factor? Buck, the Patrick dog, the Carver dogs. So if I'm looking at something and I'm trying to have some shit on my yard, I ain't trying to create no new sauce if I'm looking at the only sauce that's working is this particular sauce. Don't you think that's the sauce is which way you need to go? The sauce that's working? Because everybody who did it that was successful, that's what they did. Mr. Burns, you know what I'm saying? Everybody who had that yellow stuff, Havana Boys, you know, Mr. Hollingsworth, Stone City, Big Mike. You know, we can go look. We can go take a look, and we can. I can even use hardcore's Big Mike, and I'm still using yellow. Combination of fat. It says that's Red Man. Hardcore's Red Man. Here we go, another sun off of yellow. Now here's another key piece. What makes this stand out? Was it the Honey Bunch? You know, we got Jeep and Rascal there. One thing for sure, we understand what created, you know, we got Finley's Bowl and Honey Bunch. That's a whole conversation in itself, because remember, I can take this same dog, Jeep, and put him right over there with the Red Boy dogs like Hardcore did over here when he added yellow. Basically, same thing. It's the same shit you created: Tab, Gator, Blackjack, and the whole little Red Boy Jeep Cross. And all the other ones, Tuffy, the whole clique. But that one factor, that one little factor that keeps popping up, you don't pick it up, you won't notice it, because when you go looking at all that other shit that didn't work, and there are going to be certain things that you're going to see in the shit that did work that you don't have. And if you got everything that I'm showing you and you don't got shit because you used the shit that didn't work, I used the shit that worked. Like Hardcore did. Hardcore did it. Stone City did it. Southern Kennels did it. Gaston did it. The Untouchables did it. We did it. And every one of these, there's a counterfactor what everybody did and why everybody's shit worked. The colors. Breeding those winners. You got to bring the winners in, because they are the ones that's holding the major capacity of the genetics that's moving out of line. So when guys be out here putting together pedigrees and shit like that, and they be looking like nice pedigrees, but I'm pulling up winners. Winners that were able to produce. And I'm pointing out the factors of these are the things that put them on that list. Remember, I could turn around and do that with Jeep. Because we're going to have Kobe and us over here with Jeep. We're going to have us some car over here with Jeep. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to have some production over here with Jeep. Why can we say that? Because this was a phenomenal litter. That tells us that we should be having something when it comes to production. We did the same thing with Yellow John. Now I'm showing you the same thing with Jeep. And we're still using strains of the Red Boy, which we did speak on the strong parts of what made the Red Boy dog's genetics register merit. Remember Red Boy. And you can guarantee you're going to find in Finley's Bow some of the same shit that we can go back there and find in Red Boy. We know that. We said that. We established that. You know? This is why all these great dogs. Remember, I can go grab Buck, and guess what Buck gonna have in him? He gonna have the same old line and connection as far as his pedigree is gonna have something in common with Jeep, Yellow, and Buck. This is why they're sitting up there at the top of the ROM list. So everything after all these breedings and all this shit that we're talking about, the top producing dogs that has lasted throughout the times. And why have they been able to last is what I'm pointing out. Since everybody's trying to be the breeder, and nobody seems to be able to produce anything that can take those 3 dogs, those 4 dogs off the charts. Unless you're pairing inside their genetics. And it's a proven fact. And every badass good dog, you're going to find them bad dogs right there in their genetics, especially if they got any kind of inkling of production in them. You know what I'm saying? You might have great lines out there through their production, but you can't take nothing away from this cross here. This cross here was almost like a Red Boy crossed into some Carver stuff. Like they added the Jocko into Yellow. The Jocko in the Red Boy to make Yellow John and Yellow. The same kind of lineup. This is why that shit worked. It showed us, it clicked. How we know it worked? Because look at this, look at this. We know it worked. You know, why would you change? Like Yellow came out of all the dogs in the litter, Yellow was the one that carried the register of merit genetic. Down from his father. When we look at Jeep, we can say the same thing about Jeep. Jeep had the same genetic register of merit connection as the Red Boy dogs. And just like Yellow, Jeep had the same connection with that little outside of that Carver cross coming in. They clicked. Once you see the careers, we don't know the Jeep was going. Who knew the Jeep was going to produce? Nobody. They had to start breeding in the sea. That's the only reason we know he was good. I mean, he became a great producer. We wouldn't know up to the point of his career. Based on his career, you would have been thinking all the money would have been going on Charlie or Missy. But he had the common factor. Why? Because they bred it and found it. Wasn't hard to find once you start seeing it. And when you start talking about registered marriage, and we talking about, remember, I was in hardcore backyard. Go Rebel Kennels registered and married, Mason Smiley registered and married, Rocky registered and married, Tab registered and married. You got famous dogs out here, Tramp registered and married. You know, and on top of the fact, we got a lot of down winners. Don't forget Jill, registered and married. Blues and Bars Honeydew, registered and married. You know what I'm saying? Key factors. Let's just pick at them. Triple bed Jeep. We're not talking about just Jeep. There go G's sister. Benny Bo bred back to his sister, G's sister. Look at that pedigree. Now we were looking at this, knowing all this up here, the same shit created Red Boy. I mean, every time I drop down here and see Finley's Bow, I'm looking at the shit over here, Teal's Jeff, and I'm gonna keep looking down here. I keep trying to Finley's Bow. I'm still looking at Red Boy dogs. I get way down here, I'm still looking at the same shit. Still looking at the very same shit to put the all in behind Red Boys, the same shit to put the all in behind Finley's Bow. Now that's what I mean. Yeah, this will get me back to him. This will put me back at Rutkus. Remember, I'm showing them where it come from. Remember, I'm starting way back here in the back, and I can work my way all the way back up to Rutkus. I can work my way back all the way up to Mount Luke Hang. And I can work my way all the way up to all the great dogs, the assassin dogs. We can go through them. We've seen them on here. The Windy City, the Mims, all Red Boy, Finley Bow, Teal's Jeff. You got to know where the registered mare come from to be able to breed it. You got to understand the connection. And you got to build all over it to get it. Every one of these dogs that I'm going to, all them, I'm going to pull them up. There go Jill, registered and married. We're still talking about up here. We see all the Carver stuff. We're full of it. But we know already that the Red Boy stuff, the Teal's Jeff stuff works with it. Because when you bred Jeep to that Red Boy stuff to come up with Tab, that was a common factor because it had been done before. When they start using it, it start working. They continue using, but using the key pieces that made it work. It didn't go out there and grab Missy and make her one. It didn't go out there and grab Charlie. It didn't make him one. It didn't go out there and grab Holly and didn't make her one. What made him so special? Because they all ain't gonna have it. You would be a bad boy to be able to pull a registered mare, not just one, but maybe two out of a litter. You're doing something remarkable. Like Boomerang and Arch Missy. Banjo and BB Red. When you lucky enough to pull registered mares out of a bloodline, those you can guarantee they're going to give you a line of dogs to pass on. Guarantee it. All were great dogs. I go to Champion Petey. Champion Petey bred the same way. You see how he's bred? That's Champion Petey. Did they do anything different? No, they stayed within the circle. They stayed within the line. This shit right here, you put yellow in this shit, it's the same stuff you created the hardcore dogs. It's the same thing that you gonna find over there, you gonna find over here. Go over there to Stone City and look at those yellow buck dogs like Sarah Carroll and Little Buck and all them coming down off of Miss Champion Miss Nico, that cheap stuff. What do you find? Cheap. So my conversation is not pulling out what you would call my favorite, because I'm going to always remind y'all, when you start talking about twin, always talking about those dogs right there, because they're the best damn producing dogs in the history of dogs. That means ain't nothing y'all doing out there has topped that. But then I'm the one coming here always talking about them top 5 dogs, and y'all can't seem to debunk me on that damn near none of them. All the way up here in 2025, maybe you start hating and listen. And maybe you catch on to what I'm trying to show you. To somebody will give that list a challenge, because you ain't done shit with that list in a long time. That means nobody has been breeding dogs like these boys are doing then, because nobody has produced a line of dogs like these dogs yet. Them dogs are still holding strong up there. We'll continue holding strong up there until guys start breeding the way those dogs was bred to become the dog they are on that list. You gotta study it. Y'all put papers and dogs together that don't even, they look like it, but they ain't it. Like somebody called my Bugatti jacket, not knowing what a true Bugatti leather jacket looked like, a knockoff Pally Pell. Whoever said that, that's how your yard look when you trying to breed your shit and ain't getting shit. You know, because you don't know the real shit when you see it. Okay? I don't be out here hating on none of you, but when you scream my shit, I got feedback. I'm going to give you feedback. Maybe you were jealous because you wasn't standing there with me getting nothing. You had to find something wrong. And don't talk about me and my feelings. I'm a feeler man. Always have been. That's me. Give a damn what you got on your feet. I don't care. Evidently must have cared for you to have to talk about what I got on. You must be really stinking with hate. So when you bark my name, don't think I'm not going to crawl around before I throw your asses over there to Big Hill. He told me y'all bothering me because I don't say nothing to none of y'all. I don't even talk about y'all. Yeah, call them knockoff Pally Pell. Jacket, you could get both of them Pally Pells. It didn't cost as much as them jackets, son. That's why I said real don't recognize real, so evidently you ain't real. You couldn't tell that was a Bugatti leather jacket. How old is them jackets, man? They what, 20 years old? 20 years old. Barely wear it down here in Florida. But that jacket is over 20 years. Same motherfucking people that make the Bugatti cars, and they leather. They had jackets at one time. Only 2 stores in the United States. One of them was in Detroit. Other one's out in California. I mean, they had to talk. They called it a knockoff Pally Pell. He should have been ashamed of himself. You know, you're trying to talk with hype, but you don't know real where you see it. Pally Pell, you're embarrassing us with a Bugatti made in Milan, Italy. Son. No, I wasn't going to let that one slide by. Man, I'm trying not to, man, but I just can't let them slide, man. I just can't let them slide because real recognize real, and they felon at that point. Well, y'all should be digging in there trying to recognize what the hell we got going on, trying to teach y'all something. Y'all too busy sitting back trying to hate us, trying to learn. That's why y'all still breeding garbage, still selling garbage, still arguing, trying to be the best of what? Leave me out your little arguments, because I keep telling y'all, I'm not on y'all level to be arguing about that. That's not even cool for y'all to even try me, because I don't bother none of y'all. I'm going to keep it real, though, when y'all do, though. Now, let me get back on where I was at, because it's like I said, if you're not trying to understand what made those dogs, this is why they're still good dogs, but they're not standouts. We're going to always have great litters, but where are those litters that can still produce great dogs? Why is those top 5 dogs, actually top 7 dogs, still there? Damn near 30 years later, they still there. Y'all couldn't even take the blood and capitalize on it. You had Stone City helping you. You had Hardcore helping you. You had the Cunningham's helping you. There's so many great dogs. You had Tab helping you. There's so many of them out there. You had all the help in the world to produce another great dog. Y'all hate when we talk about Mayday, but you got to put Mayday up there right along with Yellow John and Yellow, because look, that's a damn shame when you got 3 generations of dogs in the top 10 of the most producing registered married dogs in the history of the dog game. Instead of hating it, recognize it and learn from that. Regardless of what line you use, if you know how to use it, it'll work for you. Guessing is left for the people who don't know. Because every time you try something and you want to make it your own, you're guessing. And you're going to go through the trials and tribulations like so many has, and that's why these dogs are still up there on that chart as some of the greatest producing dogs in the history of the dog game. And you might as well start accepting that. You might as well start realizing that and stop fighting about it and hating about it and understand it at least. Go hide in a corner where none of us can see you and say, we saw you over there looking into them pedigrees. You know, if you go hide, you know, we won't have nobody talking about you. A lot of y'all need to shut your mouths and go hide and go study what makes a great dog. I want to get back to my boy Rutkus. And I was talking about the Cunningham dogs, the Robinsons. They had good red boy dogs. The Robinsons had them melon dogs. Yeah, I'm gonna put him back in here. Let me get back to Rutkus. When we look at Rutkus, we can say the same thing. Look at the register of marriage that we walk down through here with. We can start back here and see we own to something. And when you go to breaking that something down, why would you try to change anything that's doing all this? Register of marriage, register of marriage, register of marriage, register of marriage. You know what I mean? A whole lot of it. Register of marriage. And winners. Let's not forget the winners. We can't forget the winners. While everybody's cutting up their pedigree so much, we can see the winners very clearly on this pedigree. And the producers very well. It's the same common factors that was going on back then up here. I can do the same thing with blackjack. I said Blackjack and Rutkus was two of the baddest Jeep Red Boy dogs out there. Blackjack and Rutkus were some very rough dogs. Blackjack was tougher than his owner. Okay, we're gonna look at Blackjack. Look at the dogs that Blackjack produced. Where'd he get it from? Look at the pedigree. You tell me where'd he get it from? Because we've seen all this back there in the back before. We've seen this stuff. Don't forget we got my boy James Pope right here. That's a James Pope breeding right there. James Pope made that breed. But what do you see there? The same combination. Exact same combination. Now let's go talk about the all round. All round. All round. All round. You know what I'm saying? The genetic makeup. What's the common factor? Jeep. Red Boy. We're going to give Rascal his. We're going to give Rascal his. But the key factor, even in the Rascal dogs, it was the. Look here. Even in the Rascal dogs, what do we see here? The same shit that created Jeep. The crosses is right there. Now, if you're thinking about it, if you're seriously thinking about it, and you put it all in that nutshell, and let's keep the major factors in line. They all have a common factor. That's one. Two, they all have a production factor based on their fighting career. First, they got to be worthy of wanting to be bred. Two. Okay? And then now they got to produce. Now, when we got all that going on in the same pocket and y'all out here buying dogs, you know, back then we were a little smarter than y'all because these dogs wouldn't be great dogs without the right people getting them. They wouldn't have been right if the right people weren't getting them to do this right here. Would none of this mean shit anyway? These are standouts. There's no way in the hell y'all gonna tell me that these dogs in 2025, because I'm on the bus, I don't know. All I can tell y'all is I'm still back here on the bus and I'm still looking for somebody to get inaugurated into the bus along with these great ones. At least somebody to get up there on that list amongst all these great ones that's still been here over 20 years. Because you ain't studied what put them there. And y'all not digging in far enough to get that. There's a lot of winning dogs out there coming down through time. And I'm pretty sure even in the now that you're going to find these particular great dogs. They're going to be coming by way of 90% of them. You're going to find some Red Boy in them. Guarantee it. Or you're going to find some old Eli shit in there. Guarantee it. You're going to find some Frisco in that shit. Guarantee it. And they all got a common factor. I told you. Every dog from top 5 dogs on that registered medical list, including them 2 females over there, that's 7 dogs on that RM list. have something in common that puts all of them have that one thing they all have in common. And in that one thing, they all produced. They all won. They all excelled to be on that list. And when you start watering that list down, the chances of people ever getting something on that list diminishes. Y'all hate on Mayday, but Mayday is the closest thing that's been back down there that came from way back there in the Red Boy shit and the Jeep shit and all that other shit that was able to create a line that has a lot of registered merits and champions and grand champions. That he could set up there and we throw Frisco in there, but Frisco wasn't no champion. He probably was a good dog, could have probably been a winner. But Frisco was up there through artificial insemination. Frisco's really up there through being a lot of those winners start out overseas before they start clicking here. Now give me about 100 straws of Frisco. I'm pretty sure he deserves to be on the list. But he got something that didn't nobody else have. Jeep didn't have no straws. Yellow didn't have no straws. Yellow John didn't have no straws. Grand Champion Buck didn't have no straws. And Mayday didn't have no straws. So they're amongst great dogs. And then you got Frisco there, who had all the help from the overseas, all the help from those straws. And because of those straws, his pedigree, a line of dogs, is purer than any one of them 5 dogs up there. Frisco is the purest thing still around. Oh, don't let me bite your heads off for saying that, because it's the truth. Red Boy still showing his colors. He still got Red Boy and most great dogs that I've seen. Understanding the common factor, y'all just ain't figured out how to put it together because y'all really don't study. Because y'all don't look for those intricate pieces that what creates a register of merit. Well, let's check out Gator. He's a fine example of what created a great register of merit. Who's the common factor in Gator becoming a register of merit? But look at his damn pedigree. He got enough firepower in there because we know this shit right here carries register of merit genetics. Clearly been proven and shown. We started way in the very beginning when I started this conversation. We took care of all that. Factors to make it work. We never know until we do it. We never know until we do it. Let's look at Gator. A red-nosed Jeep dog. Yeah. Common factor. Bentley Bow. Red Boy. Register merit. Both ends. Key factor. Razor was a good one. That was his little mate, Blackjack's brother. So we already know how he was bred. Okay, you go Miss Champion, Miss Rising Star, Gypsy. Okay, here's one. Register merit. Champion Miss Gator. I said champion Miss Gator. You know I don't pull up nothing but champions to show you what when you breed the champions, you get champions. Look at the pedigree. Common factor, why Gypsy become a registered mare? She had a lot of help. She had a lot of help. Look at the common factors in that dog. Remember, we said the same thing about Rutkus. We said the same thing about Blackjack. There's common factors. We said the same thing about Hardcore. And these are all kennels that had registered mares frequent. So if you're going to produce and carry genetics, you got to understand, first of all, the common factors of how to breed, how to put it together, how to foresee what you're trying to do, because that's what a lot of the old school guys was doing. How do you think these dogs are getting bred so well back here? They ain't just throwing dogs together. There's like I said, a formula. That's the best way I can put it. If you can realize the formula and really get intricate into breaking the formula down, it's like finding a spaceship, taking all the technology off of it, learn what it is, because we sure as hell don't know what it is, and take that information and learn from it to build it. We're going to take that spaceship apart, and we're going to use technology and everything we can to figure out how they got it to work and how it worked. All the intricate details. This is the same thing that you have to do in your breeding program. Breeding dogs just because is not good enough. Rutkus has always been my new red boy. Rutkus has been my new red boy, because Rutkus he threw rough dogs. Rutkus threw rough dogs. I mean, and he was for a red dog, he was bad boy too. Yes, that dog was bad. That Cunningham stuff. Boomer was a good dog. But that red man threw some shit. See what I'm saying? You don't see Rose, Boomer, or none of that. You don't see none of that ROM shit. That ROM shit didn't kick in until you start putting all that ROM on top of each other, tighten that up. That's what they did. They took that match dog, that North Carolina Rose, and started using her the right way. You took a champion and bred to a damn Broadway Jack who ain't nothing but a one-time winner. He took the son and bred back to the mama. You know what I'm saying? And then you took Boomer and bred back to a daughter of the Red Boy, bringing Red Boy from back here up here. That's where his shit began to work at, right here. I see these different pedigrees in here, all going back to Teal's Jeff. Common factor. You gotta be able to understand it and read it and see it. If you can't see it, then this is how you're gonna miss it. And look what dog I'm talking about. I'm talking about Red Man, registered mare, coming down off a Boomer. Ain't a registered mare, ain't not a registered mare, but look up. Look, when y'all bought this back here, up to here, in this zone here, and you gotta take the yellow stuff in there, the shit that created yellow. You got the metal stuff in there that created Carolina Rose, all matched dogs. we already know who the key factor in that pedigree is Red Boy, and you bringing him from back here, up here, and crossing it, and we're still talking about Tills Jeff, not Red Boy. Tills Jeff. Tills Jeff. Tills Jeff. Go back here, we're gonna find Tills Jeff. Double Red Outlaw, come on. Go up here, we're gonna find Tills Jeff. Common factor, Tills Jeff. Any questions in there, Mike? Okay. Well, you know, that's just like they said Zebo came from the old stolen Eli dog. Okay? We hear that, but Zebo doesn't look nothing like him. Nothing like him. Now, let's talk about that line of dogs you're talking about. Okay? Now, if Yellow was bred like him, anything like him, and we take Red Boy out of that equation, and now we're going to put this other shit, Geronimo shit, in him. All right? Why couldn't Geronimo do what Red Boy did? Why does it seem to work better and seem to make more sense at working with Red Boy than Geronimo? Because outside of Yellow John, Geronimo ain't produced shit. All right, now I'm going to take y'all to this one, this pedigree right here. Body Snatchers, Carmen Brown. Bad bitch. She beat a champion and a May champion. I mean, this bitch, when she went for her championship, first of all, Body Snatcher was matching dog. We all know that. We can tell. Here's my other point. Everybody down there on this damn pedigree was matching dogs. Everybody on this pedigree. Look at the combination. Tell me you can't see it. I'm gonna still pull out five of the greatest dogs on that list, and I'm all them dogs that I talk about. Come down out of them line of dogs are in these dogs. We can take this shit and take it and put it in other pedigrees, and I'll show you the same shit working. Same shit. Let's go down here. Let's go take a peek. You already know hardcore. We already know that Jeep Rascal shit. We know that's Jeep Rascal. Red Boy. Clearly. We know what he was doing. He was matching his line, just like Body Snatcher, matching his line using what? Jeep Red Boy. Flossie. What's the common factor? What's the common factor to make that shit click? Y'all see it all up in there. You're going to see it all up in there. Register and married. Look at Tombstone. Common factor. What do I say? What do you keep saying? Fitzwater's Goldie and who? Stabber. Common factors. Men matching dogs. Y'all see it. Look at the production. Look at the production. How you not gonna get production when you got a registered married? Registered married. The biggest part of the puzzle, who was the common factor? Two or both of y'all? Or red baby and all. Can you ask the question? You get a good answer, because it's going to still be a 50-50. Common factor, red baby. Mic check one, mic check one. Y'all hear me? Mic checking the mic and shit. Can y'all hear me good? Because I don't want y'all missing none of this. These are pedigrees, guys. I'm not sitting here banging these dogs in y'all head for y'all to, to brag about how great they were. I'm banging these dogs in y'all head so y'all can study what made this shit work. What made them produce dogs like this? You know what I'm saying? What was the factors that made it work? We're going to see these certain factors in a lot of things. We're going to find Bolio and Kobe and them top dogs. Major names. Bolio and Kobe. Pitchwater Goldie, Stabber, Dibo. Them are old names that you're going to find in that top 5 dogs. You're going to find them. Kobe, Pitchwater Goldie, Stabber, Dibo, Tills Jeff. That's it. There goes Stabber. These are dogs. They carried the genetic registered merit genetic that could put in a dog and it could reproduce. They could make these crosses. Remember, it took them to take Red Baby. Look, Pat Patrick had to take Red Baby, and like Red Baby, he had to really like Tombstone. Look what color he is. He's a Carver dog. What was the common factor? Was it the bottom? Hell no. It was the top. Clearly. The top. Good cross down here at the bottom. Okay? But Speedy knew that he needed to breed to that champion. Speedy knew that he needed to take his bitch to that champion. Mind of a breeder. He the one with the bitch. He the one that had to make that move. Damn good move, wouldn't you say? Because that dog right there starts falling all down into the makeup of the bulls, dogs, all that good shit. But this stuff in itself, Spike and Black Shine, we're going to find them in all the great black dogs out there. If you had anything in you like Honey Bunch, Rascal, great producing dogs, didn't have registered merit a lot in them, but they were bred to dogs that carried that registered merit, and that's why they were being able to carry, because with those dogs, they were able to produce registered merit, and you will find these dogs in those pedigrees. Go look around in Niggerino's pedigree and go concentrate on that Cujo shit. And tell me the common factors. It's like you always see me going back here, and I'm always pointing these things out over and over, and I'm always grabbing them, because the more I look at the pedigrees and how they're doing the dogs today, it's like it has a formula, but it's not a working formula because nobody's breeding the champions. How do you know, your purpose may have changed, but there's no way in the hell you're going to tell me you're making dogs better than them top 5 dogs or anything like that coming off of them. Maybe because purposes have changed. I can tell you about some great dogs. I can tell you about some great dogs that I found in the back of my bus laying on the floor. I don't know how somebody slipped them in, but I can tell you some great dogs. Show you some. Another great one. Found this one on the back floor of my bus. Take a closer look. Let's take a closer look. What made it work? Well, we know one thing for sure. They had to like King of Kings Whoop. This bitch here, they had to like her. But what did they like about this dog? Is the question. They had to really like this dog with one-time winner, one-time loser. You understand what I'm saying? Let's look at her pedigree. What do you see here? Got double bred gator right in here. Damn, they got triple bred gator right here. As a matter of fact, we got 4-time gator up here in the top generation of the pedigree. So we got a whole bunch of registered marriage just in this socket here alone. Registered married, producer record. Go down here, what do we see? A whole lot of who? Frisco. You see Dynamite, you see all this stuff, Frisco. No, let's not forget. Let's not forget. That's Frisco's pedigree. Let's not forget Frisco's pedigree. Oh, okay. Might want me to go to the patch store. Here you go, man. Look at that Pitchwater Goldie. Look at that Pitchwater Goldie. And what we see over here again? Do I got to go looking? There he is. So we got a whole bunch of the same old shit. Them top 5. There's a reason why they're there. That's Frisco. when we go here, they go black shine and to the Dabo. We're gonna see it a whole lot more. We start clicking all up in here. Blind Billy, blind Billy, blind Billy. You know where they come from. To this Dabo. Remember I said that. To this Dabo. The Eli dogs. The Kobe dogs. The Red Boy dogs. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and I just played with a little bit of that. I just played with the bottom. So we got registered mirror power all up in this bottom. Guaranteed. Study it. Now let's go look at Waldo. You lost the champion black boy. But let's look at it. We see a whole lot of yellow. We don't know whether this is Sundance, the Patrick stuff, or the Red Boy stuff. No, because this dog right here could be Sundance. Okay? That's just a good, and that's a good argument. Because I just proved my point on that one. Possibilities, they're there. Little Rascal, good bred dog? Yes. Look how he bred. Still, we playing in the top 5 dogs. The combination, man. It's the combination. I need to study this shit. Look at that stuff. OM. OM. Good dogs produce great dogs, especially if they're coming from production of backgrounds. Handicap. Same shit. You see them in there. Where did the registered male power come from? Where did the registered male power come from? Where did registered male power come from? A production of a producing line of dogs. We've been through these. See them? You carry a genetic trait, and you're doing it through match dogs. Complete dogs. Oh yes, each one of these that I'm pulling up, there is a formula. over and over and over. You click on this, you're going to be taking you back there looking like the top. Still carrying that genetic trait. That R-worm is a trait. I'm telling you, gentlemen, and you usually will find it in your great dogs. You're going to really usually find it in those match dogs. Not all of them, but the ones that make a damn difference in the world today, y'all need to be paying attention to what those dogs were and where they come from. You see it, more Carver stuff, same shit, same shit. They go Bolio again. They go Stabber again. They go Tater again. Remember where I'm taking y'all. And all this is in one dog. I even got to the big part, the part you I ain't gonna like. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to save him for last. Same stuff. Been looking at all this earlier. They go long weirdo again. Look how many times. And look at that. Taking the same old dogs. Look at them. Still, I'm looking at the top 5 producing dogs of all times in this pedigree of Buck. Got them all. Champion beater, dog of the decade. Got them all. Got them all. Got Buckets, 357, Mayday, Stone City Blondie coming off a buck and awesome baby. Got the whole damn crew. Gator, Blackjack, Big Casey. We've been here. We've been through all these. This don't even damn it matter. But guess what? Got to give him some kind of love because guess what he went back to? Carver, Midnight Cowboy. You see, it's all right there. It speaks for itself. There's a formula in every single one of these dogs to create such a specimen. How many of you guys could have looked at that pedigree and said that without me breaking it down? That he has all the dogs in common as them same great dogs. Now, you think he'd be able to produce like Jeep, Frisco, Mayday, Yellow, Buck? Because he got all of them in there. One thing he did, he proved that he was just as good as all the other great dogs like Mayday, Yellow, Buck. But goddamn, he got them all in. That's why. I would say so. I said, give me the top 5 and top 7 dogs, and I can win with them. This dog is a prime example of what I meant. 30 years later. Come on now. Pay attention. Study that shit. If you're going to breed some bulldogs, understand how to breed from a blueprint that works. Understand the blueprint before you start building. Might save you some dog food. might say you're the embarrassment of somebody coming back saying they bought some shit from you and it was a piece of shit. I don't work with that stuff no more. It didn't work for me. You know, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that going around these days. Everybody changing up yards every once in a while. Everybody holding on to this one thing. Swear to God, they're going to make it great. Year after year after year after year. Dog food. The cost of having them on the yard, the time you spend to clean up the shit and keep them healthy, and the medicine and the all that. Then you go out there and then you sell them and put it into somebody else's hands, and maybe they'll live to make it. You know what I mean? Start right here, was able to live to make it. But if you talking about some shit that went back down there 30 years ago, and we was on the bus, and I was sitting on the bus, and somebody slid this in my bus on the floor where I could pull it up and say, well, damn. Now, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about, some shit that has succeeded through time. Now, the question is, can he produce? That's the question. Can he be one of them dogs that finally get up there amongst his great descendants, join the greats that he come down off of? Got all the material to do so. There's factors in there that I kind of, you know, the all-around part I question. And the reason I question it, because it ain't enough of it in the going upward from the third to the first. You got the one there. You know what I'm saying? And you got traction with the one, because it's heavy. It got heavy ROM down through here. The bottom gonna carry it. If anything gonna carry it, it's gonna have to be the bottom. Why? Because I'm gonna find the bottom in the ROM trait, because that's the closest thing to fourth generation. Prior to that, look what we got. Everything is in the fourth. We got her way up here, and she produced one. You know, they got her down to the register, man. Maybe she got a different name. Let me see. Let me see if she got some siblings. Or she got a sibling there. What the hell? I gotta check. I think so. You know, that would be my question. You know what I'm saying? Because you see, we looking good here when we go to the mama. You see, we came forward a whole lot. We came forward a whole lot right there. That's a trait right there that we can count on. We can count on it, because somewhere in there, whether she's an RM or not, well, she produced the damn dog of the decade who whooped like 3 or 4 champions in his rise to the top. All these black dogs, and guess what he is? A buckskin dog. He was a black dog. The mama was a black dog. But you had red boy in them. Question would be asked, wait, where did the The black, where's all the buckskin shit at? Yeah, you're going to find it in here. You see what I'm saying? You're going to find it in here. It's there. Ain't no black, there's a whole bunch of black in there, right there. So you're going to have an all black mama and daddy and kicked out that buckskin dog. You ain't going to have a red nose, that's for damn sure. Not coming off a black mama and daddy. You have a black mask, and he have a buckskin because he got a lot of that stuff in, got that yellow stuff. But a lot of this stuff down here is black. These dogs here, black dogs. All that helped out a lot. See the buckskin? Here's the buckskin. You see the buckskin? My question, like I said before, either way, whether Red Double is Sundance, let me see if I can pull it up. I think David Tant got Sundance. I think it's Tant Sundance. I think I can pull him up. That's Sundance's pedigree. Can y'all see it? See if I can make it a little bigger. Okay. That's right. That's their other AAA. That's the other AAA. Now, if you were to take AAA and replace it with the AAA that's on there, coming down off of yellow, that's who you will have in that AAA's place. That Red Double could have been a Red Double coming down off of the Buck Dogs. And that's why AAA seems to work so well. Whether it was down off of yellow or the Buck line of dogs. But we all know that Gaston bought Sundance, had Sundance on the yard, you know, had him on Sundance 1 minute, then the next thing you know, Sundance gone, and now you got AAA having puppies again. After the other one come up missing. See what I'm saying? See, Thug Dog's true pedigree. See what I'm saying? It would be his true pedigree. Same thing to produce the Mayday dog, same thing to produce the Stone City dog, same thing to produce these dogs. Same cross. Study it. This Red Devil got the credit. Now you have to take that right there and put it in and put that in those slots. You're looking at a whole different pedigree. You're looking at a whole different pedigree if you were to replace every one of these red doubles with Sundance. Now we're dealing with Mayday-looking dogs. POR. Well, never did say the Sundance was supposed to be all around. And neither was Red Double. But many times he was bred. But you had two different Red Doubles. And I think that was the key to these dogs working so well, because they all had yellow. What happens when you breed yellow in the Grand Champion buck? That's a Stone City dog. You got that right there. They go awesome, baby. You put Sundance there, they go Grand Champion bucks. Same shit you created Stone City dog. Same thing they created going hard shit. Same thing with the 357. Same thing again. Look at the top. You take that and put Sundance, because that's who it is. Still dealing with the same stuff. Still a buck yellow cross. Still supposed to work. And then you put that on top of all that Sundance. In here, we dealing with a full-fledged yellow Stone City cross right here, all by itself. This little oompa right here, hey, we give the match dog all the credit, but we're still dealing with Patrick dogs. That's why he was so damn rough. That's why he was just a badass dog. And Kevin had to give it to him. He was a gamer, not a killer, but a gamer. He could beat your ass up, but he wasn't definitely not a killer. And these are things that we know. These ain't fake things that I'm telling y'all. These are things that, you know, we ain't all dead. We are not all dead. So a lot of us, you know, I know a lot of truth. And I'm not the only one to know a lot of truth. And I can sit there and say that about my own shit when I talk about Kunta. And when you go replacing Kunta in there with Little Mayday, you're looking at a different pedigree, and then you say, well, why wasn't he producing? Because they wasn't breeding him like we was breeding our shit. Because just as soon as they start breeding like we was breeding our shit, they got results. That's a fact. So we can look at these dogs and say the same thing. What was the key factor in this dog being dog of the year? Dog of the year, dog of the decade, and beat both champions I know of. And really, to me, he's a 7-time winner because he got another one in. He beat another champion on his rise to fame. Matter of fact, his last one, he beat another champion up there in the D area. Travel. Guys, these pedigrees that I set out is not to brag about the top 5 dogs. It's there for y'all to use as a blueprint. A blueprint. Maybe if I can get guys to understand and study the blueprint, you know what I'm saying? The possibilities are there. Not speaking on the purpose, just the science. The science. What good is it? You know, they ain't got to prove shit to most of y'all. So at least work on the science. Want to be a good breeder, understand the science. Everybody claim they got a good dog. As many of y'all claim y'all got great dogs. But the dogs I'm pointing out, they're not better than none of them. Not yet. Not yet. That has not been proven. That has not came across my desk to put it on this computer. But I'm looking and I'm waiting. But somebody slid a good one up in here that makes a prime example to what I've been speaking on. Give me any one of them top 5 and I'll show you a great dog. I'm going to leave it right there. And that's going to be my dog of the night. That's her. That's all I'm doing is giving you a guideline, a blueprint to study. Understand what I'm talking about. You'll get it.
House. I wasn't even in the house the whole time, Mo. I've been out the house the whole time. All right, fellas, show me some love. Show me some damn love. Mo been trying to tell y'all through the whole show. He been trying to tell you, pay close attention. He took a dog from Rutkus, and we took you all the way back to show you something. Remember, it's the format, it's the formula. Pay attention close to the formula. And in 2025, this formula still exists. It does. Now, what I would like you to do, again, what I would like you to do is give me some damn thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles, muscles, muscles. Now, show me some love and give me my damn roses, roses. We need them damn roses. Show some love. Come on now. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Y'all got to excuse me, man, because I got one of them. I hope y'all can hear me. Yeah, y'all should be able to hear me because my thing moving. Got a lot of things going on right now. Couldn't really pay attention too much to what's happening right here. But I know one thing. Y'all got the point. Y'all got the point. 3 dogs. Hey, I seen
a question you asked. You said Banjo and Baby Red Daddy quit. Wonder why they bred them. You know, you don't start with him. You should be asking the same question to Floyd Boudreaux with all them quitters he got over there to create a grand champion art now. You know what I mean? You know, we need to be asking that question when we go to talking about Snooty and them. You know what I mean? They all had quit in their pedigree, so there had to be a reason for a breeder to do it. And guess what? The breeder, one thing for damn sure is one thing to breed a cur and get some great dogs, and there's another thing to breed a cur and don't get shit. See, I guess the cur is acceptable when he's producing great dogs based on who he probably quit on. Pertaining to a dog that quit, you know, and you expecting him to produce something, and he don't. Floyd Boudreaux made a good example out of that. Shit. Them Teal dogs, they had quit in them too. You know, they all wasn't winners. A couple losers in them dogs. You know, the question too, why were they bred? Maybe that takes a little time out to stop and go take a good look. Because one thing for damn sure, if we're going to breed a cur, and they're going to come back with the dogs that I put up there tonight, then you better find out the difference between them breeding their curs and most people breeding their curs. And why can't they curs get like these curs? You know what I mean? Thanks, John Johnson. I see you, baby, on that breakdown. Hey, guys, I see everybody saying mic check. What's going on with the sound? Can't hear you, my guy. Mic check. Mike, you missed all that, buddy. It's mic checking all over the place. You had me muted? Damn. What's going on with the sound? Can't hear me. That's right, old man. Thanks, man. LSL, man, I said you can hear me now. I got that. He said, we can now. You was cut off for 5 minutes. Y'all can put that on the mic, man. Money, he gets to listening and shit. He just gets carried away. Big Hill said, hold up, y'all. Let me go and smack that like button. Well, go ahead on, big bro. Shout out, man. Thank y'all for coming. Hey, I seen J-Bo, you in the house, baby. I see you, fam. Guys, I just want to tell y'all, man, you know, even me when I was training dogs, I got that Collier book, and I read that book, and it taught me so much. You know, it gave me a blueprint of when I started training dogs outside, you know, my military training. It just gives you, you know, understanding certain things, getting a full understanding of first of all, understanding what you want. What I wanted was greatness. I wanted to be a good dog trainer. I wanted to be a good dog man. And I've always been able to learn because I knew how to sit back and listen and watch and study. I studied hardcore. I studied Mau Mau. I studied Ozzy. I studied everybody. Looking at how everybody was working. Vietnam, Southern Kennels, David Tant, Gaston. I studied all of them. You know, before Jamie died and he got my dogs, he asked me how would I breed those dogs. And I told him, I said, every time you breed them to some yellow shit, you might get some good, you're gonna get some good dogs. He tried and bred Sassy Girl, the Thug, and Hot Dog. You know, Sassy has some great dogs. But he got mighty confident when he wanted to breed her into that the Ozzie Stevens stuff. And he got a good one out of there too. You know, I don't think I could have ever found myself to do that. You know, because to me, it would take a good Jeep dog. You know, and where are the good Jeep dogs today? They tied up in there with them top 5 dogs. If you can find them in there tied in there, if your blueprint, if you can get a blueprint together and you see them top 5 or actually top 7, you're doing even better. And stop sleeping on Tom. There's a reason why Tom went and grabbed that red boy and start putting it in his shit. Okay? There's a reason why, man. Been around a long time. He has advantage that most of us don't have. He has straws, years of straws. You know, we need to put asterisks behind his all in points like we did his overseas shit because all the other dogs didn't have straws. Tom got 20 years of breeding Frisco. You know, with over, you could put Yellow and Nate and all them together, and you're not gonna get the dogs that Tom them put out there. Pages on top of pages. But that's the luxury of him putting in the work to be able to do that. Just imagine if they had done that with Jeep. Imagine if they had done that with Yellow. Imagine if they'd have done that with Grand Champion Buck. Imagine if they were able to do that with Mayday, Yellow John, Red Boy, Art, Zebo. Imagine we had 20 years of playing with that stuff. Like Tom. That's why Tom can still sit out here and do what he do. Because while he's doing that, everybody else done fell off. There's nobody left standing but him. Can't hate. You can't hate. You'd be wrong to hate. And like I say, the only one that I ever noticed they hate are the people that cannot compare themselves to that person. How you gonna hate on me and I can't compare you to me? You always want to be you. I'm pretty sure you would love to be me, or you wouldn't be hating. You'd be right up here with me, but you wouldn't have nothing to say. I can tell you that's how Tom feel, and I believe that. Cause I would feel the same damn way. Cause he don't stop nothing he doing. I ain't seen him once go up in here and try to explain himself to anybody. You want to close it on up, Mike? Hey guys, thanks for sitting out with me, man. Please take those things, man. It's only a blueprint. It's not something I'm trying to tell y'all to go into this stuff and do this and do. I'm telling you guys, if you're going to do all these breedings, pay attention to what you're breeding, because you're not breeding shit like that, fellas. Revamp, rethink. Really, that's all you got to do. Revamp, rethink. You should be better than you were, because the seed been planted. You're gonna get that seed a chance to grow, then I can guarantee you it's gonna grow, and it's gonna be different than the shit that you had to revamp. I'm gonna leave it right there. Y'all have a good evening, man. Have a safe weekend, man. Hope all goes well. Okay? Mike.
Mike chat. All right, fella. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, fellas. Appreciate everybody for showing up tonight and all that good shit. I don't know what happened to my mic situation. I know y'all can hear me. Let me see in here. If I'm down behind or anything, let me go in here and see. I gotta go up in this thing and see. Hold on, man. I didn't see no. I didn't see no muscles. Did y'all hear the muscles and the roses and shit? If y'all can hear me, can I get somebody to give me some muscles and some roses and shit? I know my mic wasn't messed up that long. No, it's just a matter of time. All I'm looking for is a muscle, a rose here and there. The thumbs up would be better. You know, at least you got the message. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button, y'all. Don't forget to hit that like button. And hopefully you learned something tonight. If you didn't learn, or feel like you didn't need to learn anything, I just suggest that for the ones who's willing to try something new, or just dive into something and just compare it to what you're already working with and try to just get into that mind frame. Just study what the other people were doing. We say that all the time. We copycat it. We ain't no secret to that. But it was a lot of that, because we just went through a whole bunch of damn dogs, and we started out with my man, old Rutkus. We took a ride on the bus all the way back there, all the way to 2025. And even now, we still can show you in 2025, damn near the damn dog of the decade. Don't tell me that this shit is just happens by choice. That's bullshit. It does take time, knowledge, and the discipline to want to just be better. So take it from there and ride, and just let's ride it that way. Because I hope that this makes it onto somebody's platform, into somebody's yard, into somebody's way of thinking, that can dogs
of the now be better than the dogs of the past? Well, only time gonna tell. So far, time has told us a no. I mean, right? I know people like, well, guess what, fellas? If that do be the case, I don't know how they do it nowadays, but I'm just working with what we got, and based on what we got, we can still pull up the top 5 from what we have known it to be. It's still the same. Same old faces doing the same old thing. I know don't nobody want to hear it, but I guess I can't help it. But let the truth be told, man. You can hate it all you want, but you can't change it because ain't nothing back there in the past you're gonna be able to fix, change. You can disagree with, but it is what it is. We can turn on all the conspiracy theories and everything, but the facts are. The only reason we talk about the dogs that we talk about because they're worth talking about. Anything other than that is a bunch of bullshit, and I think this dog game carries enough bullshit and dog shit that we don't need too much more shit added to our community. So let's try to keep it real, and we are doing our best to try to make it better. So, look, we're gonna be December 8th. The APDR will be having a show December 8th. We will be getting all the advertisement and everything together. Hopefully we'll be able to make it if God permits. Because, I don't like going nowhere where it be cold at, but I will take my time and do it. Yeah. DSK gonna be there, judging, Lockdown Rudy gonna be there. A lot of the old cats, it's good for us to just get down there. I know my boy Tony gonna be there. Tony, wait, I'm looking to see you down there, fam. I'll make the trip. You better be where I can get my hands on you, because I gotta come to K-Town anyway to see my kids. So I'm looking forward to making that a special trip. Enjoy myself, be able to see the family and be able to kick with everybody. But look, fellas, if you don't do anything, I just want you to do that one thing. Regardless of how these dogs treat you, how many times you end up having to start over. The good thing about it is the dog in you. And the dog in you gonna always, a real dog in you, he gonna always scratch the wind. I'm telling you, you better act like you know that, man. You better act like you believe that shit. You better stand on that shit. Hey, fellas, until Tuesday, if God permit, we'll see y'all then. We ride y'all like this. Yeah. Dorian Souls, yes sir. Kingston, North Carolina, I'll be headed that way, fam. We be down in Fayetteville, but yep, I do have children, grandchildren right there in Kingston, still to this day. So I'll be that close. I'm gonna stop by and make that one of them kind of weekends. Hope to see you guys there. North Carolina, South Carolina, y'all down there, represent. All my people up north, we ain't doing nothing. Run down south, get away from that snow. Come enjoy yourself. Hang out, let's talk dogs. Yeah. Okay, you right there. We gotta pass your way to get to where we gotta go, coming from where we coming from. So yeah, we don't. Hey, look, you got the email address. You know, we got enough phone numbers out there. You know, we're gonna be down that way. Dorian, hit me up, fam. I won't have a problem coming to see you or meeting up, just saying, whoop. If you ain't doing nothing, Dorian, meet me down in Fayetteville. We go from there. I'm gonna leave there and go back into Kinston. And then leave from Kinston and come back home. But yeah, we're gonna be down there for the weekend. Show Saturday night, we probably gonna hang out Sunday. Be on the road Monday morning. Make it a weekend to remember. Never know when we never get a chance like that again. Yeah.